Damas y caballeros, les pedimos ponerse de pie para escuchar el himno nacional de Estados Unidos. Damas y caballeros, les pedimos mantenerse de pie para el himno nacional de Costa Rica.
All on the line here in Group G today. At least both teams have the safety net of knowing they're going through to the round of 16, but so important to get that top spot in the group as far as your next match is concerned. More on that in a second as we take a broader look at the bracket, but here's the starting 11 for the United States. Natalia Estrain, the head coach, sends out a very strong lineup once again. A couple of players rotated through as opposed to their last game against Puerto Rico. But still in there at captain, you have Riley Jackson, a 5'8" midfielder, controls things defensively, offensively, conduit from the back line and the front line. And Amalia Villarreal has 6 goals in this tournament, leading the way for the United States. Costa Rica, no easy out by any stretch of the imagination. They're coming off a 9-1 win over Grenada, but all 9 of those goals are represented by players on the bench today. So some rotation in the lineup for Patricia Aguilar. Referees for this game are led by Miriam Marcotte of Canada, and then Stephanie Fortin of Canada, plus Suel Morales of Suriname, and Mayari Cartagena of Guatemala is the 4th official. Riley Jackson and Jimena Rodriguez, the captains, out for the coin toss as we're set to get this one going. And Estadio Olímpico Félix Sánchez. Costa Rica's head coach, Patricia Aguilar, again sends out a lineup with some different faces in there. Of the 13 goals they've scored in this tournament, only 4 represented by this starting lineup. Briseño, Gonzalez, Scott, and Rivera, the 4 goal scorers from previous matches. And then, of course, the Matarita sisters in the midfield, Veronica and Monica. Some history between the United States and Costa Rica in this tournament. This is the sixth time they're ever meeting at a U17 championship here in Concacaf. Winner of this group will go ahead and face Curacao in their next match to begin the round of 16. And whoever wins this group will be on the same side of the bracket as Canada. Cannot meet them, though, until the semifinal. A beautiful afternoon for football in Santo Domingo. Costa Rica from right to left in the white. United States from left to right in the red and blue. Joe Malfa here with you for today's action. Thanks for tuning in. Group G's top spot on the line. A draw would be enough for the United States to clinch that spot based on their massive goal differential advantage. Costa Rica needs to come away with all 3 points if they want to emerge as this group's winner. Costa Rica in their last game against Grenada actually started off slow. They went down 1-0 in that game before scoring 9 unanswered. Natalia Estrain maybe looking at that one and saying that this United States team can jump on Costa Rica early the same way that Grenada did. Giselle Thompson gets it back into play for the U.S. Back for Cameron Roller. And all the way back to Victoria Sefredin. It's been an easy go of it for United States goalkeepers so far in this tournament. They've just been glorified spectators through 2 matches, with the U.S. outscoring teams 33-0. With speed down the left wing and taken down. Taylor Suarez draws the free kick. Suarez, 2 goals in this tournament. Plays her club soccer with Charlotte Soccer Academy. Patricia Aguilar looking on. A tough test today for Costa Rica, in which she will learn a lot about this team. If you're going to get through as one of the top 3 finishers in this tournament and qualify for October's World Cup in India, you're going to have to get through a team like the United States or Canada or Mexico. And here's their first big test, Costa Rica. Loaded in on the free kick, but nobody making that charge to the back post. Harmlessly through for a goal kick. It's been a very positive couple of months for Costa Rica at every level of their national team system. The senior team is up to 36th in the world, 4th in CONCACAF, just behind Mexico in the overall rankings. They waltzed through their group in the CONCACAF W qualifiers, outscoring teams 22-0 and qualifying for the July CONCACAF W Championship. That shot saved by Genesis Perez. Her shot on target for the United States. Costa Rica hoping that that success trickles down from the senior team through the U20s through the U17s. And it will be an important summer for the U20 squad of Costa Rica. They are hosting the Under-20 World Cup. And for that reason, they actually did not take part in March when the CONCACAF U20 championships took place. Automatically through to the World Cup as the host. No need to qualify. Here's Gamero. Onyeka Gamero plays it in the middle. Great start for the United States. Their earliest goal of this tournament. Amalia Villarreal scores her 7th in 3 matches here in the 4th minute. Great work down the wing from Gamero. Villarreal had the positioning on the inside shoulder. of Jimenez Rodriguez. Doesn't get easier than that. Not much you can do if you're Genesis Perez from that range. First goal for the U.S. came in the 9th minute against Grenada. Came in the 6th minute against Puerto Rico. And today it comes in the 4th minute against Costa Rica with Group G on the line. The Americans still ranked number 1 at the senior level. At the U20 level, they went on to win the U20 championship back on March 12th, a 2-0 win over Mexico. At the senior level, the U.S. and Costa Rica were separated for July's Concacaf W Championship in opposite groups. But all eyes right now on the U17s here in the Dominican Republic. This is a tournament that has been dominated by the United States. 4 times the champions. And the 6 previous times this tournament has been contested. Back-to-back champions in 2016 and 2018. Never finishing worse than 3rd, the Americans. Only 2 times they failed to make the final. 2010 and 2013. Both of those years they finished in 3rd. And in 2010 they beat this Costa Rica side 6-0 in that 3rd place match. Costa Rica hoping to return to some of the early success they found in this tournament. Back in 2008 and 2010, they made the semifinal both times. They made the final in 2008 where they lost to the U.S. 4-1. But since that run of the final in 2008 and the run of the semifinal in 2010, Costa Rica has not made it back to the semis at the U17 level. Hoping to qualify for a 3rd Under-17 World Cup. Haven't been there, Costa Rica, since 2014. And in 2014, they were there as the hosts of the tournament. Here's Gamero again with the assist on that first goal. Kohler for the back post and cleared away by Valentina Rivera. To the end line, Kohler squares it back. Savannah King shoved off the ball by Veronica Matarrita. Does well to recover. Suarez mishandled. Teams have met in 4 of the 6 previous U17 championships. This is their 6th overall meeting after they met twice in 2010. The United States has won all 5 of the previous meetings going back to 2008. Under pressure here, Perez just clears it out toward the sideline. It's kept in by Gamero. Turns the corner. Onyeka Gamero feeds it in again, and Perez controls this one. Historically, things have been tightening up when these teams meet. That first one was taken by the U.S. 6-0. Then they had a 10-0 win after that. But only 2-0 in 2016, 4-0 in 2018. Costa Rica, to a degree, closing the gap. And that's visible at every level for a number of teams throughout Concacaf. It's no longer just the United States, Canada, and everybody else. Mexico right there. Costa Rica very competitive. Great growth of the game all throughout Concacaf. And the flag up on Villarreal. Two yards off. as the ball came in from Charlotte Kohler. Nineteen of Costa Rica's 20 roster players play in Costa Rica. The bulk of those either with Saprissa or Alajuelense, two of the bigger clubs in the nation. The only exception to that is the goalkeeper, Genesis Perez, plays in the United States and attends Montverde Academy in Florida. Minutes gone here in this one. A quick start for the United States. Villarreal found a 7th goal in this tournament, coming off a 5-goal performance against Puerto Rico. This American team was comprised from far and wide. 19 different youth clubs from 11 different states on the roster. Off the back of Gamero's heel, but right back into the path of Villarreal. Out for Suarez. Rather Savannah King up the left side. Riley Jackson, the captain, plays it along. That one won't stay in. Cameron Roller looking over the top with it. Every single player on the roster for the U.S. saw action in the first 2 games. Natalia Estrain did a good job of rotating the starters, making use of all the subs, getting everybody some action. Flag stayed down this time on Villarreal. Lowers the shoulder, enters the area, cuts in. Villarreal still with it, pokes it forward. Save made by Perez. Thompson, after it's recycled. Martinho. Here's King. Patient from the United States, not forcing anything just because they were in the attacking third. Back to the back line, and they go again. Through Martinho. Now Savannah King. Here's Taylor Suarez, overlap coming from King. Sent that way. King just lacked the final ball. "33 goals over the first 2 games are the most ever for a U.S. team in the first 2 matches of a Concacaf Women's World Cup qualifying tournament. It's the first time in a U17 tournament with the new 20-team format used. All the other times, fewer teams, fewer opponents. Over in the other game, Puerto Rico has a 1-0 lead over Grenada. So as it would stand, the United States advance atop the group with 9 points. Costa Rica second with 6. Puerto Rico third with 3. All those 3 teams through, and Grenada would be done for the tournament. Remember, throughout today and tomorrow, as we get into all the scenarios, top 3 teams in each group will be on the way through. That's a total of 12, joining the 4 that were already pre-slotted into the round of 16 based on pre-qualifying efforts. Those 4 teams: Guyana, St. Kitts and Nevis, Curacao, and Honduras. And those 4 teams, in some capacity, will meet the 4 group winners once the bracket is set for the round of 16. The winner of this group, Group G, will take on Curacao. And the Group G winner is on the same half of the bracket as the Group F winner, which in all likelihood will be Canada. So it sets the stage for a U.S.-Canada showdown in the semifinal. On May 6th, we'll have those 2 semifinal matches. The winners on that day will, of course, get to this final, but also qualify for October's World Cup. Attack on again for the U.S., but intercepted. Jimena Rodriguez, strong defending. Not all lost if you lose in the semifinal on May 6th. The 3rd place match on May 8th could be your lifeline to get through to the World Cup. Whoever wins the 3rd place match will be the 3rd team from Concacaf to punch that World Cup ticket. In October in India, 7 teams have already qualified. Of course, India as the hosts, China, Japan, also on the way to India from the Asian region, Brazil, Chile, Colombia from South America, and New Zealand from Oceania. Taylor Suarez, will she keep it in? Just barely missed it. Tough to tie a cleat when you've got those hamburger helper gloves on as a goalkeeper. So some help from Luciana Gonzalez. Ready to get things going again. With that goal, by the way, Amalia Villarreal in the 4th minute became the leader in the Golden Boot race, coming into the day tied with Rosa Malouf of Canada with 6 goals each. So now Villarreal in sole possession of 1st place. Lindsay Horan, a 1-time Golden Boot winner in this tournament. Got on to star, of course, for the senior team for the U.S. That came back in 2010. Over the line. Suarez gave chase. The good news for Costa Rica, regardless of the outcome of today's game, they get out of the group stage after starting off strong as the runners-up in this tournament in 2008 and the 4th place finishers in 2010. They did not participate in the tournament altogether in 2012 or 2013, and they were eliminated in the group stage in both 2016 and 2018. So while they may not win this group unless they come back and win this one over the U.S., Costa Rica, for the first time since 2010, will be on the way to the knockout stage in the U-17 championship here in Concacaf. That's something that we might be able to say when all is said and done about quite a few teams in this tournament who have rebounded after some recent struggles in this tournament. Ball slotted through for Martinho. 2 options centrally, still loose in the middle, taken down by Kohler. Out for a goal kick. Should Puerto Rico hold on to beat Grenada, it'd be their first time into the knockout stage. Another look here as the run was held by Martino. You've got Panama and Nicaragua likely through the knockout stage. Nicaragua's never been in the knockout stage in this tournament. Panama has only once back in 2012. Jamaica only once in the history of this tournament advanced beyond the group stage. They're about to do so again. El Salvador has never made a knockout stage. They're already clinched on the way through. Flag up here on Villarreal. Play on as Perez picks it up. As you look around this tournament, a lot of teams, it will be their first time into that knockout stage. Showing some growth at the youth levels. And it's growth that we've already seen from some countries here in Concacaf. Look at Haiti. First 4 editions of this tournament. Never advanced beyond the group stage. Last 2 editions made it through to the semis. You've got your powerhouses, your perennial favorites. United States, Canada, Mexico. Those 3 teams have been to every single semifinal. But the gap closing, not only at the senior level, but at the U20s, at the U17s around Concacaf. "20 minutes gone, still the lone goal. Coming back in the 4th minute. Amalia Villarreal with the U.S. up quickly with her 7th at the tournament, now leading the Golden Boot race. Kohler over to Martino. Martino. Plays the way she's facing, finds Savannah King. Finds a way through to Suarez. In the middle, Villarreal trying to create space for herself. And cleared away by Briseño. Riley Jackson raved about her talent, her IQ, the way she plays in the midfield. At 5'8", good size, good IQ, good talent on the ball now. Slots it through, give and go toward Villarreal. The second pass too strong. And Riley Jackson, a good story in the midfield for the United States. U.S. Soccer recently published a story about Jackson, cut from her U12 ODP. That motivated her. 3 years later, gets into the U.S. national team picture in the U15s. 2 years after that, she's captaining the U17s as arguably their top, most important player as they try to qualify for the World Cup. Here's Fonseca. First time that Costa Rica's found a way this far up the field, but opportunity quickly vanishes. Rodriguez taken in by Scott. Turn from Fonseca. King gets to Suarez. Jackson the outlet for Villarreal. Here's Suarez again, came in, leading the way in assists for the United States with 5. Kohler feeds it along. Space taken by Thompson. Back into Kohler. Well read by King, coming up from the left side. Too much on it. She tried to thread it through for Villarreal. Villarreal always in a position to pounce. Holds that run, times it well, diagonally through the center backs. the instinct and the qualities from Villarreal atop the formation. I'd say there's a bright future for a lot of the players on the U.S. as they go further along, whether it's college, whether it's pro. Villarreal and Jackson, the two that maybe stick out above the rest of this American team. Martinho. Well weighted on the pass. Now back for Jackson. Thompson. Didn't really have an option there. Gamero tiptoeing that line. Might have been an offside position. Jackson takes it back. Gamero back for Kohler. Savannah King puts it in the middle of Villarreal, but she mishits it. An awkward middle bounce. Couldn't get it on the short hop. But she continues to find the soft spot in that back line of Costa Rica. Luciana Gonzalez, probably, to be fair, should have cleared that one away before it got there. Maybe it did catch Villarreal a bit by surprise. Now the attention turned to Genesis Perez, down injured, holding that left leg. Villarreal crashed in there as she pressured it, trying to deflect the goal kick. And a yellow issued to Villarreal. Rest of the teams, rest of the players, I should say, use this as an opportunity to hydrate, shout out the coaches. A milder day here in Santo Domingo than what we've seen so far through this tournament. Usually the last couple of days, in this kickoff slot at least, a 7 p.m. different story. Sun goes down, day becomes night. But in this time slot, temperature's consistently been upper 80s, low 90s. But just under 80 at kickoff today. Fatigue, though, starting to set in maybe a bit more for a number of teams around the tournament as they're playing a third game in just a few days. A team like Costa Rica and the United States, who rotated heavily in the first couple of matches, maybe not affected as much. For some of these players, just a second start or a second appearance. And back to the action. Inching closer to the half-hour mark here in the first half. So far, 4 shots for the U.S., none for Costa Rica. 2 of those shots for the U.S. on target. One of them, of course, finding the net, courtesy of Villarreal back in the 4th minute. lot of patience from this American side. Saw in the first couple of games, a bit less so in the Grenada match, just overmatching Grenada, going forward when they can, scoring 20 goals. That line speaks for itself. This game for the U.S., certainly a step up in competition, more of a tune-up for what lies ahead, the likes of Mexico and Canada, as you start looking ahead to the semis, to the final. This is how we'll have to play in those games. Patient, waiting for a slot, waiting for a moment, secure on the ball, no easy turnovers or giveaways, have to get to those second balls as the match wears on. Here's Gamero, had the assist on the Villarreal goal, takes it down the wing again. Gamero wins a corner, first of the match for either side here in the 30th minute. Riley Jackson over to take the corner. You'd think you'd like to have her in the middle at 5'8", but their best deliverer of the ball floats it top of the 6, punched away by Perez. Kohler has a go of it, bit off balance and well wide. Kohler shoved off the ball by Shika Scott, but one right back by Martinho. Kohler for Gamero. Slots it through for Villarreal. Over to the back post, off the post, punched by Perez. Martinho had a chance. That all seemed like it happened in slow motion. The ball just hanging in midair. And then pawed off the post by Perez. Here's a second look. Didn't catch it cleanly, Martinho. Might have actually come off the knee of the defending Brittany Vasquez on second look there. Either way, Perez up to the task and keeps it at 1-0. Elsewhere, still 1-0. Puerto Rico over Grenada. So as it stands there, similar to what the case is here, Grenada would need 2 goals in order to overtake Puerto Rico. Grenada has to win that game in order to advance as the 3rd place finisher in this group. So Puerto Rico in a great spot. And same case here, Costa Rica has to win in order to win Group G. Now the difference between winning Group G and coming in second in Group G, it's not massive, but it could turn out to play a big role in World Cup qualification. The 2nd place finisher in Group G would face Canada in the quarterfinal. So you look at this tournament in some order: Canada, the United States, and Mexico, the perceived big 3. You could avoid that until the semifinal it gives you two chances to qualify for the World Cup. Beat one of those teams in the semi or win your third place match. You come in second in Group G, you face Canada in the quarterfinal, and you may not have that chance in the semi or the third place match. So the goal is to avoid those big three as long as you can. So if Costa Rica is able to pull off the upset here, give them a much better path to that semifinal. A loss here or a tie here for Costa Rica, and they're facing Canada in the quarterfinal. On one hand, it's maybe nicer to say, you know what, we're going to have to beat this team at some point. Might as well face them in the quarterfinal. That's a way you can look at it, but you face them in the semifinal, and again, it gives you two bites at the apple. You could either win that semifinal and get to the World Cup, but even if you lose, you know you have the safety net of that third place match where it would all then be on the line. So there's your difference between winning Group G and coming in second in Group G. Now the same went the other way for Canada yesterday as things were unfolding over in Group F. There was a chance, it seemed, that Jamaica could be atop the group at the end of the day based on goal difference had they come out and had a strong showing against Dominican Republic after Canada only won 5-0 against Bermuda in a game that maybe on paper should have been one where they ran up the score and padded that goal differential. So important for Canada to go ahead tomorrow and beat Jamaica and vice versa, so you'd avoid the United States until the semifinal instead of having to deal with them potentially in the quarterfinal. The bottom half of the bracket is the loaded one. When you've got three teams of that nature that are the big three, US, Mexico, Canada, obviously you're going to have a half of the bracket where two of those teams fall. It just so happens to be the bottom half where Canada and the US lurk. Mexico, on paper, should have an easier path through to the final as the lone big dog, if you will, in the top half of the bracket. And Mexico will look to solidify their spot later tonight as they take on Trinidad and Tobago. All Mexico needs in that one is a point, and they would be through as the group winners. Mexico in first place right now in Group E, outscoring teams 17-0 in their first two matches. Panama, Nicaragua, second and third place. Trinidad in fourth on no points after two losses. The tightest race seems like it's going to be in Group H. That one always on paper seemed to be the most even, unpredictable group with El Salvador, Haiti, Cuba, and Guatemala. Yesterday, El Salvador took down Haiti to lead that group. Here's Villarreal with Kohler there to help. Now Gamero. Onyeka Gamero takes it in. Kept alive on the backside by Suarez to Villarreal. Falls for Villarreal, takes an extra touch. It's blocked on the shot. Villarreal shot again, saved this time by Perez. Out for a corner kick. So good in tight spaces, Villarreal. Doesn't seem like there's much room for her to maneuver. And she's finding ways to pivot and find these shots, these opportunities. Look at that. 3 players in on her. Mel Thompson into Gamero. Gamero's strike rises too much in the end. She has been lively down the right side. The assist on the opening goal. Onyeka Gamero has closed in with her speed and had a couple of opportunities at goal herself. Overcooks that one just a tad. 10th shot of the match for the United States. Still nothing on the other end for Costa Rica. But only one goal to show for it for the Americans. Here's Gamero again. Floats it back post just over the head of Suarez, who's able to keep it alive. Now King behind Villarreal. Poor clearing attempt. Keeps it alive for Jackson. Villarreal. You wonder what the second half might look like for Costa Rica. Plenty of options to tap into on the bench, who have tasted goal in this tournament. They scored 9 goals as a team against Grenada. All 9 of those goals were left on the bench in form of substitutes today. Back to the starters, Costa Rica, who played against Puerto Rico. Here's Gamero. Gamero's pass deflected. Kohler a step too slow. Jackson with it. Over to Thompson. Gamero plays it through for Thompson, too strong. But again, a glimpse at the patience from the U.S. At this age group, whether it's boys or girls, you're going to see teams be a bit more direct, less patient, try to ping it over the top. If the U.S. doesn't see the pass there, they are content to swing it back around. High IQ team, patient on the ball, and it's worked in every facet so far of this tournament. Gamero plays it ahead for Martinho. Flag stayed down. Villarreal waiting in the middle. Martinho plays it to the spot. Jackson has it caught between her feet and loses it. Jackson trying to win it back, and she does. Good hustle from Jackson to get back. Through for Sheikha Scott. Now Matarita taken down hard. And Martinho. The only player on a yellow card in this match so far is Amalia Villarreal. Matarita receiving attention on the Costa Rican side. A player down through all the bodies for the United States as well. Matarita looks good to go now. Martinho, who was slow to get off for the U.S. Seemed like she ended up getting the worst of that after committing the foul. 13-year-old part of the North Carolina Courage Academy. One of 3 players on this U17 side coming from the NWSL Sides Academy. Back to the action here in the 45th minute. Awaiting word on stoppage time. Free kick swerved in. First time that Costa Rica's got the ball into the opposing 18-yard box in this one. Told there will be 2 minutes of added time on the 4th official's board momentarily. Is there another attack and another goal in this half of the U.S.? They started so quickly. Their earliest goal of the tournament came in the 4th minute. Seemed like it would be going the way the past 2 matches did after that hot of a start. But it hasn't happened that way. Costa Rica tight defensively. The U.S. patient, not forcing anything. Still just that 1 goal. Villarreal threads it through. Here's Kohler, 2-0 U.S. Charlotte Kohler's 5th goal here in the group stage. And the U.S. bookend this half with goals. A quick start, a goal in the 4th minute, and then they get one in first half stoppage time. Perfectly weighted ball through by Villarreal. She's been on the scoring end of 7 goals this tournament for the U.S., and now she adds another assist. The Americans now well on the way to winning Group G. One 1-0 at the half in the other match between Puerto Rico and Grenada. So 3rd place in this group, and that 3rd spot from Group G into the knockout stage still very much hanging in the balance. The whistle to end the first half. Dominant showing once again from the United States. Not so much on the scoreboard and the way the first 2 games played out after wins of 20-0 and 13-0. Just 2-0 here at the half. But the Americans have controlled this half in every way. A dozen shots to Costa Rica's 0 and 2 goals to Costa Rica's none here at halftime in the final match of Group G play in the 2022 Concacaf Women's Under-17 Championship. A look back at the first half here between the United States and Costa Rica. A beautiful day in Santo Domingo at Estadio Olímpico Félix Sánchez. Temperature just under 80 degrees after a sweltering week leading up to today. The United States, well, they had a sweltering start to this one, just 4 minutes in. Gamero finds Villarreal, and that's 1-0, 4 minutes in. Earliest goal of the tournament for the U.S. Thought maybe they might be off to the races again after wins of 20-0 and 13-0 in the first two games. But things slowed down a bit. Costa Rica maintained a really strong defensive identity and integrity in that first half. Didn't make anything easy for the U.S. Anytime they played the ball in like that, there were bodies around to limit the space for a shot. Diving stop by Genesis Perez as that one ricocheted. Gamero had a very active half, had the assist, had a couple of chances at goal. As it kept going on, the U.S. started finding more avenues through, and finally, they got through once more. They scored in the 4th minute. They scored in first half stoppage time. After Villarreal got the first goal, she supplies the second, and Charlotte Kohler finishes for her 5th of the tournament. So it could be a couple of golden boot candidates here for the U.S. Villarreal leads the tournament with 7. Kohler now up to 5 herself, and it's 2-0 U.S. at the break. And while the U.S. may not have the dominant goal total they've had in the first couple of games, everywhere else they are in total control of this game. Nearly 70-30 in the possession, 11 shots, 5 on target, none in either category for Costa Rica. Costa Rica needs 3 goals at least in this one to go ahead and win Group G. Consolation prize, they're already through the round of 16. They were hoping for more, but it seems like the Americans will be on the way to a Group G win. 45 minutes to go.
I went from maybe I can to I know I will. From isn't she cute to fight. Coaches who seem stuck on we can now say we did. From women's football to every 90 minutes, I'm reminded we belong.
United States and Costa Rica retaking the field here in Santo Domingo at Estadio Olímpico Félix Sánchez. Final match day of Group G here in the 2022 Concacaf Women's Under-17 Championship. And after a strong first half, the United States staked to a 2-0 lead. As long as they hold on to that, they will be your Group G winners. And it would set them up to face Curacao in the round of 16. Costa Rica from left to right in the white. United States from right to left in the red and blue. Waiting for the whistle from Miriam Marcotte to get us underway, and there it is. 45 minutes to go. We'll keep you updated on the other match in Group G as well. Puerto Rico up 1-0 on Grenada in the second half there. So long as Puerto Rico earns at least a point, it would be the third place team and get through to the round of 16. Definitely a more patient U.S. team in that first half than we saw in the first couple of matches. A step up in the competition, not as many easy avenues forward to find all those goals that they found in the first two games, 33 in total in those first two matches. This match certainly resembling more what they might see from a Mexico, from a Canada as they get deeper in this tournament. Picking their moments, when to attack, when to swing it back and find a different way forward. This time a clear path forward though for Suarez. Villarreal to the end line on the ground in front. Here's Suarez finding a lane to shoot it, punched up and still down in front of the goal line. Genesis Perez, full stretch, kept it out. The U.S. looking to start this half as quickly as they started the first half with a goal in the 4th minute. Jackson lofts it center of the box. The header is wide from Cameron Roller. Perez did well to keep that one out in the second effort as well. Who knows where the spin on that would have taken it if it hit the ground, slapped it away as it touched the ground. And just like that, the Americans win it back in the attacking third. Given right back away by Martinho. They've had little moments like that here and there, the U.S., where they were out of sync, a little bit sloppy, passes too strong. Those moments have been few and far between. Villarreal, tournament's leading scorer with 7, has 1 already today to go with an assist. Gamero inside, Kohler, fans on it. Falling for King, headed along. And the foul called against Villarreal. Does have a yellow card already, Villarreal. So you wonder if Leah Estrain, head coach for the U.S., thinks about getting Villarreal off the field, not to risk her picking up a second yellow and then missing the round of 16 match against Curacao. Brought down by Matarita. Veronica Matarita turns. Doesn't get the contact she wanted on that ball. Giselle Thompson. Gamero back for Thompson. And now Riley Jackson. Whether it's Cameron Roller, Melissa Gonzalez, or Riley Jackson, that triangle at the back of the two center backs and Riley Jackson, they're so calm on the ball in the distribution. Here's Jackson. First instinct always to pass. That was the second or third time right there where she probably could have lined one up from the top of the box if she wanted to send it goalward. Each time she has tried to find a way through using a teammate in the box. Gamero once again using the speed down the right side. Options in the middle. Gamero shoots it herself. Save made by Perez, who's having a very strong game in goal for Costa Rica. That was the 14th shot of the match for the United States. Of those shots on target, she has made saves now on 7 of them. Genesis Perez. Roller gives it away. The Americans have had plenty of success in this tournament, 4 times the winners. The 2 years in which they didn't win, they actually didn't even make the final. So every final they've made, they've won. The 2 years in which they failed to win, they lost in the semis. But the success has stopped there for the U17 Americans. They have not had that same success when they've gone on to the World Cup. Their best finish at the World Cup came in 2008 when they lost to North Korea in the final. They never made it back that far. That was the only ever time they advanced as far as the semis. As a matter of fact, that tournament in 2008, the only time in their 4 appearances that the United States have made it out of the group at the U17 World Cup. So for all the success they've had at the senior level, at the U20 level, which they've gotten on the world stage rather than just the regional stage at the U17 level, the same success hasn't been there for the United States. The U17 World Cup has actually belonged heavily to Asia. 2 titles for North Korea, 1 for South Korea, and 1 for Japan, with France and Spain winning the other 2 tournaments that we've seen. Yellow card out of the pocket issued to Cameron Roller. Free kick on the way for Costa Rica. Roller plays with Solar FC down in Texas.
One more left. One more left. One more left. Good. Hold it. Hold it. Cam. One more. Pass. Yes. Good.
Victoria Sefredin hasn't seen any activity in this match. 1 shot for Costa Rica. It was off target, and that came just a few moments ago. And she be called into action here on the free kick. Sent her way, but right at Sefredin. No trouble on the stop. And a quick rollout for Villarreal. One back by Veronica Matarita. And promptly given away. Del Thompson. Inside to Kohler. Now toward Villarreal. It squirted through. She took a step to the inside, waiting for that ball to be deflected by the defender. It stayed true on line. Had she have kept her stride, might have had a chance. With the pandemic canceling the last edition of this tournament in 2020, a whole cycle gone by with no U17 soccer. That paved the way for 16 players to make their international debut in that opening group stage match against Grenada for the United States. And they've since gotten every single player on the roster into a match, all debuting internationally. Gamero taken down in the area, and a penalty is given. Miriam Marcotte looked like she was thinking about it. A glance over at her assistant referee, makes the call in the end. And now a dozen minutes into the second half, the U.S. a chance to make it 3. Gamero has been causing issues all afternoon long for that Costa Rica backline, particularly down that right side against Brittany Vasquez. And it's Riley Jackson who will take it. Cut from her local ODP team when she was 12. That motivated her. Got into the U15 Women's Youth National Team mix in 2019. COVID hit. Youth soccer put on hold. Finds her way into the U17 team in this cycle. Not only on the team, but a key component of the team, the captain, looking for her first goal of the tournament. From the mark against Genesis Perez. Riley Jackson scores. Exuberance on the face of the captain. Her first of the tournament, and it's 3-0 to the Americans. Well taken penalty. Puts it over into the side netting. Perez guesses the right way, but just well taken from the American captain. Pair of changes now being prepared for the U.S. This one certainly in hand. Group G within the Americans' grasp. A chance to rotate some more in. Taylor Suarez will leave. Mia Oliaro comes in. Afternoon also done for Lauren Martino. And just beginning for Mia Buta. Qualification for the U17 World Cup is of particular interest for Mia Buta, a rare U.S. Women's National Team player of Indian heritage, and it's the right time for her here. A chance to go on to the U17 World Cup in India. Buta also wore the captain's armband in this tournament for the U.S. in the opening game against Grenada. Here's Villarreal. Takes it herself. Villarreal puts it wide. Perez did get a touch to it. Corner on the way. Here in the 60th minute of 90. Jackson will send it in. Good delivery, top of the 6 ball, loose pinballing around, and now cleared. Savannah King resets for Giselle Thompson and gets it back once again. Up to Kohler. Now Gamero splits the gap. Here's Gamero, shoots and scores! The exclamation point on a terrific match for Onyeka Gamero. Started with an assist, then drew a penalty, now scores a goal of her own. And it's her first of the tournament. 4-0 U.S. Just class down the right side from Gamero. Splits 2 defenders, and look where that one ends up. Kisses the crossbar into the side netting. No chance for Genesis Perez. Hour gone, half hour to go. The U.S. with a pair of goals in each half. That was their 17th shot of the match to just 2 for Costa Rica. Now the U.S. opening things up a bit more. First half, they were a bit more methodical, a bit more patient. Maybe they've just worn Costa Rica down with all the chasing the Ticos have had to do. Through toward Kohler, but too much. Jackson takes the space. Intercepted by Briseño. And Jocelyn Briseño now carries down the left wing for Costa Rica. Over in the other game, still just 1-0 Puerto Rico. Grenada keeping it tight. About a half an hour to go there. Grenada will have to score twice. They must win that game to get through as the third place team over Puerto Rico. And the Puerto Ricans do have the leeway of knowing conceding 1 goal won't change the outcome. But it's looking more and more like it'll be Puerto Rico through. And as the third place team in Group G, it would actually send Puerto Rico to the top half of the bracket instead of remaining on the bottom half. Gamero again, this time across over everybody's head. Now if Puerto Rico does get sent to the top half of the bracket as the third place team in this group, they would have a meeting against the second place finisher of Group E. And from what I've seen in this tournament, with that possibly being Panama, having seen Puerto Rico, having seen Panama, that's not a bad draw for Puerto Rico. A couple of changes here. Jocelyn Fonseca out. Jimenez in. And then Kayshalyn Mena in for Brittany Vasquez.
Finish. Huh?
Villarreal. So with the goals today from Gamero and Jackson, that leaves only 5 outfield players for the U.S. who have not scored in the group stage. Terrific percentage to have. Change on the way. Amalia Villarreal will see her group stage end. And what a group stage it was. 7 goals in 3 matches for Villarreal. Currently the leader in the Golden Boot race. In comes Melina Rabimbas. Here's Gonzalez. So as the Group G winners, the United States will get Curacao in the round of 16. Their quarterfinal would be the winner of a match between the 2nd place finisher of Group F and the 3rd place finisher of Group H. As of now, Group H up in the air. If I'd venture a guess, it'll be Cuba in that 3rd place spot of Group H. And 2nd place of Group F is likely to be Jamaica. So either Jamaica or Cuba for the U.S. in the quarterfinal, it appears. Gamero. That one just over the line. Shouldn't come as a surprise considering the U.S. have been in every semifinal in the history of this U17 tournament, but the path does set up once again. Of course, very favorable in the round of 16 against a pre-slotted Curacao team that came through an earlier round of qualifying. And Jamaica or Cuba in the quarterfinal before possibly a date with Canada in the semis. Now in 2018 and 2016, the last 2 editions of this tournament. 2018, the U.S. did not play Canada at all. They were on different sides of the bracket. The U.S. beat Haiti in the semis. 2016, the U.S. beat Canada 5-0 in the semifinal. So it could be on the way to that meeting again. No trouble for Perez there. On the shot from Mia Oliaro. Good touch into space by Oliaro. Lands over the shoulder from Rabimbas. See, she has some space, gets it back to Oliaro, but the flag up for offside. A fraction. A good call by the assistant referee on the far side of the field. Every final in this tournament has featured Canada, Mexico, or the U.S. Some combination of those 3 teams, except for one. It was the inaugural back in 08 where Costa Rica made it through to the final. We're hoping to return to that form. It's not going to be an easy go of it. Costa Rica, the way it stands, likely to face Canada in the quarterfinal. And then should Costa Rica get by Canada in the quarterfinal, they would have to get by the U.S. in the semifinal in a potential rematch. So a very difficult path to the final if you're Costa Rica. Although the goal not necessarily to get to the final. I shouldn't say that. The goal, of course, is to get to the final, but not the end-all, be-all. At least getting to the semifinal gives you 2 chances to make it to the World Cup. You get to the semi and lose, you go into the 3rd place match, you have a chance to win that and get through to India in October. So as long as Costa Rica can go on and find a way through against Canada, whether or not they can get through the U.S. in a potential semifinal rematch is impertinent. They would at least have 2 chances to make the World Cup. Turn from Rabimbas onto her left foot for a strike. Right at Perez. Shakes off that left hand after stopping it. That one had some force behind it. Gamero gets into a good spot again. Gamero cuts it back. That one off the post. Gamero keeps it in, but the flag up for offside. This play will not continue. Flag was up on Gamero, the first to touch it after it hit the post. But once again, Gamero creating down the right flank. Assist on the first goal. Drew a penalty that led to the 3rd goal and scored the 4th goal herself. Nearly another assist here on what would have been the 5th goal. Gamero from Cerritos, California. Rabimbas plays at Rutgers High School. From Warren, New Jersey. Once again, you've got 11 different states represented on this team. Corner finds a way through for Roller. Now Kohler back for Roller. Roller's ball in. And ball. Just over a quarter of an hour remaining now in Santo Domingo. This group all but wrapped up for the United States. Joe Malfa with you for today's action. Still more to come from this field as Mexico will take on Trinidad and Tobago as Group E reaches its conclusion. Not a lot of bearing on the group outcome in that Mexico-Trinidad match. Flag up once again, this time on Savannah King. Not a lot of bearing on the outcome of the groups in that Mexico-Trinidad match. Mexico already with 6 points. Trinidad, bottom of the group. That's just one final tune-up for Mexico. More of a question of how many goals will Mexico score in that game. The interesting one is Panama-Nicaragua. Panama and Nicaragua tied on 3 points each right now in Group E. Not really sure how to make heads or tails of that one. Panama and Nicaragua both beat Trinidad and Tobago by the same margin. They nearly lost to Mexico by the same margin, so their first two results in common were very similar. Now they go head-to-head. Having watched both Nicaragua and Panama play, I really have no idea which way to call that one. Both teams genuinely match up evenly. Their performances through 2 matches reflect that. Anyone's guess as to who will come through in that one. And when I say who will come through, I should be specific. Who will come in second place in the group? Those 2 teams are likely both going through to the knockout stage, barring a colossal upset of Mexico by Trinidad and Tobago. So Panama and Nicaragua both going through. Question is, who comes in second in Group E and who comes in third? Chica Scott exits the match in favor of Tanisha Fonseca, the youngest player on this Costa Rican side. Good service on the corner, headed down. Perez keeps it in. Wasn't sure if it was last off for teammate. Keeps it away from another corner kick. Now the difference between second and third place in Group E in that Panama-Nicaragua showdown. If you come in second, you get Puerto Rico. If you come in third in Group E, you get Costa Rica. And on top of that, if you come in second in Group E, your quarterfinal matchup is a lot more favorable as well against the winner of Group H, which maybe is the toughest group to handicap because all the teams are so evenly matched. But Group H, the only group without the heavy hitter of Canada, US, or Mexico. So coming in second in Group E, a big deal. You get an easier draw for the round of 16, and you get the weakest of the 4 group winners as your quarterfinal matchup. If you come in third in Group E on the losing end of that Panama-Nicaragua match, you get Costa Rica in the round of 16, and you get Canada in the quarterfinal. Charlotte Kohler exits with a goal. Claire Hutton enters the match. That must be nice for the United States. You take off one player who has 5 goals in this tournament, bring on another who has 5 in this tournament. Round of applause for Onyeka Gamero. A goal, an assist, and a penalty drawn in this match. She leaves now in favor of Nicolette Kjorpes. Claire Hutton on for Charlotte Kohler. Again, both of those players with 5 in this tournament for the U.S. The ability to interchange. This will be the first corner of the match for Costa Rica. Update in the other match, Puerto Rico has now gone up 2-0 on Grenada. With just 8 minutes to go, Puerto Rico looks to be the team coming through in third place in Group G. 10 to go between the United States and Costa Rica. 2 goals in the first half, 2 goals in the second half for the United States. Equal levels of dominance in both halves. Out shooting Costa Rica 21-2. 10 of those shots for the United States have been on target. Only 1 of the 2 shots for Costa Rica on target in this one. Flag stays down for a moment on Miyabuta, but now comes up. One off the goal kick for a strike that's just wide from Miyabuta. This tournament just the latest in a busy summer for both of these nations here in Concacaf in the women's game. We've already seen the Concacaf W qualifiers that ran in February and April. The U.S. exempt from those, automatically through with Canada to the W Championship in July. Costa Rica waltzed through that qualifying round unbeaten and made it to July's portion. That's at the senior level. At the U20 level, the Americans won the U20 championship here in Concacaf to qualify for this summer's World Cup at the U20 level in August in Costa Rica. So Costa Rica getting set to host at the U20 level the World Cup in a couple of months' time. And the U.S. hoping to punch a ticket in these next couple of weeks to an October U17 World Cup. Costa Rica looking to do the same, but it's looking more and more like that will be a much tougher path for Costa Rica than it will be for the United States. Savannah King cuts it back. Oliaro hangs up there for Perez. Costa Rica now, with the picture becoming clearer, will end up as the second place team in Group G, which sets them up against either Panama or Nicaragua in the round of 16. That in and of itself, not an easy matchup for Costa Rica. Should they get by, they would face, in all likelihood, Canada in the quarterfinal, and in all likelihood, this United States team in the semifinal. So it would take a run for the ages in this tournament for Costa Rica, getting through the U.S. and Canada both before a spot in the final if they want to make a deep run and possibly lift this trophy. Lifting the trophy, one of the goals, but in addition to that, of course, qualifying for October's World Cup. Got to get to at least the semifinal for a chance at that. Marian Solano comes in for Monica Matarita. And Priscilla Rodriguez exits for Sharon Lobo. We've seen flashes in this match from the U.S. of how they could turn it on and off when they want to be patient and methodical, when they want to go direct. They can do either and be successful at either. First half, they get the quick goal playing direct down the wing from Gamero to Villarreal in the 4th minute. Then they settle in, very patient. Didn't take too many shots in the early stages of that first half. All of a sudden, last 10 minutes of that first half, they turn it on again. They get the goal in stoppage time from Charlotte Kohler. And in the second half, a similar story. Early stages of the second half, methodical, patient. That middle third of this half, very direct. They scored twice. Riley Jackson from the penalty spot, then Onyeka Gamero from the run of play. And now with the game well in hand, 4-0. Again, displaying their ability on the ball. In a tournament like this where the rest of Concacaf has not yet caught up to the U.S., gaining ground, certainly, but not yet caught up to the likes of the United States, Canada, Mexico. These are the matches where a team like the U.S., or yesterday, Canada against Bermuda, when they could pass it around and they could start working on the little things that they know will add up to big things when they show down against each other. At the end of the day, those are the things that will matter the most here. It's not going to matter whether you beat Grenada by 20 or by 10, whether you beat Puerto Rico by 13 or by 5. What's going to matter is, come the semifinal, how do you perform against Canada if that collision course comes to fruition? And you put yourself in the best position to succeed in that match and beyond, potentially in a final, by working on those little things in a match like this. Flag stays down here. Rabimbas plays it across for Oliaro. Hearing there will be 2 minutes of added time at the end of this one. Outcome has been certain for the better part of an hour here in Santo Domingo. Puerto Rico added an insurance goal just for good measure, up 3-0 now on Grenada. Solano looking forward. Just been tough for Costa Rica to get anything going through the midfield into the attacking third. Only a few times they've found success on the attack. 2 shots total in this match, 1 on target, 1 off target, neither threatening. Just tough to get through the midfield of the United States. Played through here for a volley, an exclamation point for the Americans. Claire Hutton picks up a 6th in the tournament. And a 5th on the day for the U.S. Puts her right in the thick of the Golden Boot race with her own teammate, Amalia Villarreal. Hutton now with 6, tied with Rosa Malouf of Canada for 2nd place. Good clean finish as well. Awkward in-between hop. And she puts the instep through it. Just passes it with power to the corner. Confirmation there of the 2 minutes of added time. Will be interesting to see how far this American team can go. You imagine they'll be at the very least in the semifinal of this tournament, and they'll likely face off against Canada. Then the question becomes, will they win this tournament? Likely to qualify for that World Cup in October. And then from there, how far do they advance at the World Cup? 4 times they've been there at the U17 level. Only 1 time have they ever gotten out of the group stage. And that 1 time that they happened to get out of the group, they were the runners-up of the tournament. Hard to find a weakness on this team, and the depth is there as well. One could argue they haven't really been tested yet. We'll see exactly how they stack up maybe against the Mexico or against the Canada. You start checking off the boxes. They've got scoring. They've got play on the wings. They've got Jackson leading the way in the midfield as that conduit between the back line and the top line. There haven't been many questions asked of the back line or of the goalkeepers. So what will happen when they begin to face adversity? Mental aspect, such a big part of it. At just 17 years of age, some players 16. So that comes into play as well. But so far, the total package, the United States will get tested more and more as we go along. But they were largely untested in the group stage. Perfect all the way through. 20-0 over Grenada. 13-0 over Puerto Rico, and now 5-0 over Costa Rica. The full-time whistle. The Americans win Group G here in the 2022 Concacaf Women's Under-17 Championship.
it's kind of tough in the first half, but we worked through it at halftime and we came back. We didn't concede any goals. We scored many in the second half, and we learned from it. So.
You were working for that goal, and in the second half of the match, you got it. Talk to me about how it feels knowing that you contributed a goal towards the victory today.
I was really happy. I kind of cried because this is my first goal, but I mean, it's all thanks to my teammates. We just kept pushing and pushing, playing through the wide areas. We looked to exploit the wide areas and work there, and finally seeing work, it brought tears to my eyes, you know, all the hard work that we put in. It means a lot when we can finally get a goal from it. So,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Look back at the full-time highlights from this one between the United States and Costa Rica. Group G first place was on the line. United States 6 points through 2 matches. Costa Rica 6 points through 2 matches. But it was all USA in this one right from the jump. 4th minute, they get on the board. Amalia Villarreal on the assist from Onyeka Gamero, who we just heard from in the post-match interview. Gamero involved in all facets of this game on the offense. Had the assist there. We'll go on to see she drew a penalty and then scored one of her own. The middle of that first half, the U.S. really just building patiently. These were some half chances they had along the way. Terrific stop here. Genesis Perez on the dive. At last deflected off the knee of Jimena Rodriguez. Almost in slow motion. And Perez able to slap it off the post. Here's Gamero once again getting involved in the attack. That should have been a sign of things to come, of what she would do in the second half. This ball played in perfectly by Villarreal to Kohler. And Charlotte Kohler tucked away her 5th goal of the group stage on the assist from Villarreal. While she was in the match, Villarreal involved in so many attacks, so good in tight spaces on the ball. The assist there, the opening goal. You can see why she is the Golden Boot leader at the moment, Villarreal, with 7 through 3 matches. A couple of her teammates, though, nipping at her heels. Charlotte Kohler with 5. And in the second half, Claire Hutton would score her 6th of the tournament. Here's another stop from Perez, who made a few big ones in there for Costa Rica. Otherwise, this one could have been a bit more lopsided as the day went along. It was Suarez who took this one. Suarez came in leading the way in assists for the United States, but did not add one to the list today. This was the lone shot on target in the match for Costa Rica. Here's Gamero drawing the penalty. Again, wreaking havoc down that right wing. And it was tucked away by the captain, Riley Jackson, for her first goal of the tournament. Made it 3-0 for the United States in the 58th minute, and they wouldn't wait long to make it 4-0. Gamero splits 2 defenders, and then from this angle kisses it off the crossbar into the side netting for her first ever international goal. At that point, the United States cruising 4-0. The group well in hand. Got a bit more patient, started passing it around, working on the little things. And then in the 90th minute, they would add one more just for good measure. After a 20-0 victory and a 13-0 victory, they get a 5-0 victory here as Hutton tucks it away. File that one away in your memory bank for the Golden Boot race. That puts her at 6, tied for second place, 1 behind her teammate Villarreal. And it gives the U.S. a goal difference of plus 38 in the group stage. A 5-0 win here over Costa Rica. A look at the final stats from this one. 25 shots for the United States, 14 of them on goal, dominating the possession category as well. And overall in the group stage, once again, 38 goals, none allowed for an American team that will now go on to face Curacao in the round of 16. Dominant from the Americans on this afternoon in Santo Domingo. More action to come from Estadio Olímpico Félix Sánchez when Mexico meets Trinidad and Tobago a bit later on.